Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eve's Kitchen. This is a new thing I'm doing. So, after a lot of soul searching and trying to find out how I could express myself and be helpful to others at the same time, I decided that I'm going to start this Eve's Kitchen. And what I'm going to be doing is basically just trying to be helpful to people and encourage people with some simple daily life advice and some really easy budget friendly recipes that if you don't know how to cook, these are super easy recipes to do. And if you do know how to cook, maybe this is something quick and easy you can do for a weeknight dinner if you work, or you just want something quick but you don't want junk. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eve. I'm a 53-year-old single woman, and this is my kitchen. It's really simple. Um, I want to start by saying I have learned a lot in my life, and I'm really hopeful that I can be helpful to at least someone. If I can even help one person, it's worth it. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing it for notoriety or to be famous. But it's a way that I can get my feelings out in the open and get them off my chest, and as well maybe be helpful to someone else who might be going through similar things or have had similar life experiences. So I'll start by telling you what I'm going to be cooking today. I'm making a really simple sausage and potatoes recipe. It's super easy and very budget friendly. So I have some mild smoked sausage. You can do spicy, you can do any brand, it doesn't matter. This is just the one I prefer. It's local. It's out of Lake City, so I prefer this brand, and I'm using mild. Again, you can use spicy if you like that. It's really up to you. The only real rule in cooking for me is make it how you like it. So this is about $5 a pack, which I think is probably about the going rate for most smoked sausage these days. And I'm using canned potatoes. You can use fresh, but I'm using canned because it's easier and you're still going to get a really great flavor. If you don't like the texture of canned potatoes, by all means, you can use fresh. But this is just easier and faster. This recipe is really quick. It doesn't take very long at all. And it's really easy. As far as spices go, I'm going to show you what I use as I go along. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and in the meantime, while I'm opening everything, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Um, like I said, I'm 53. I'm a single person. I am the last of my family, pretty much. I am the matriarch of my family now. Both my parents are passed away. I don't have any grandparents. I do have two siblings, and I also have two grown sons. And I will tell you that life has not been very kind to us for a lot of it. It's taken me a lot to get the knowledge that I have. It's taken a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of sadness to get here. So, that being said, I'm going to start just opening things and see if I can encourage somebody today. So I know that life is hard. Times are hard. things are not easy like they used to be when I was growing up, as far as being simple. Um, Bad things happen, and you can't control any of that. You can't control what happens in life. But what I've learned is that you can control how you respond. So let me say this first and foremost. You cannot live a positive life with a negative mindset. I was brought up with a very negative mother. She never saw the bright side of anything. Everything was always doom and gloom. That's not to speak ill of her, it's just who she was. So I'm going to just slice these sausages up into just small, probably 1/4 inch slices. You don't have to. You can chunk it. You can cut it up in small pieces. That's up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and slice mine how I want. You can also take the casing off of these if you like. I just leave it on. I think I'm going to use all of this today too. So I'm using a big pot. And by the way, this is a 1-pot dinner, which is even better. I'm going to go ahead and get my heat on there. I'm going to put that on about medium high for right now. I'm also going to spray. You can use a little bit of olive oil if you like that, but I'm going to use the olive oil spray in mine. Just to get that, to keep that from sticking too much. Because I do want my sausage to kind of crisp up in the bottom of that. So I'm going to let that get hot while we're talking. But as I was saying, life is hard. It is expensive. I get that everyone's got bills and everyone's got problems and they're all different. But again, it's kind of all the same in different facets. I want to tell you that the biggest lesson I have learned is to never give up. Never. Don't hate yourself for any mistakes you've made. Don't be mad at yourself because you made a wrong choice or a wrong decision that led to something that was out of your control happening. Sometimes things happen that are out of our control. But I want to encourage you, no matter what you're going through, don't give up. It's very difficult to stay positive when things are hard. I know that better than a lot of people do, maybe. It is really hard to just stay in the game and not throw in the towel. Because it's so much easier to just throw in the towel and say, I don't want to do this anymore, than it is to say, I'm going to ride the storm out and I'm going to keep going, no matter what else happens. There are so many positive things in your life that it's very difficult to see sometimes through the negative things. Alright, that's probably a little bit hotter. I actually didn't mean to get that smoky, but it'll be alright. I'll just take it off the heat for a minute. It's really hard to stay positive when life is just throwing one shit storm at you after another. But I promise you that it does get better. But you do also need to practice resetting your mind. For instance, all your bills are due. You only have enough money to cover certain things. You can stress yourself out to the point where you actually start having health problems over all the things that you need to do but can't do. So, what I have learned is to only fight the battles that I can actually fight. If I have to choose between one thing or another, for instance, paying the power bill or buying something that I just want and don't need, the power bill's going to get paid. And it just is like that sometimes. I get it. It's hard. I'm just a working person too, and I pretty much live from check to check, just pretty much like everybody else does. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the sausage in here and put this back on the heat. And my hands are clean. Well, I could stress over everything that I owe or everything that's due. I can only fix some of that. So I pick the things that I know that I can fix and throw the rest in the bucket. Because all you're going to do is stress yourself worrying about all the things that you have to do that you can't do. And you will make yourself sick doing that. And I assure you, I have done that as well. So I've got these whole new potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and get these opened up and get them draining while I'm letting the sausage kind of get a little crispy in the pot. So I'm probably going to turn that down to closer to medium, I think, for that, so they don't burn up. But I want to encourage you to try to stay focused on the things that you do have. It's hard. It's really hard sometimes. Sometimes it seems like there's just no light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, well, that potato is not getting used today. It's getting really clean, but it's not getting used. Anyway, that's the thing about recording videos. Shit happens. But, so when you're feeling really down, and it could be anything, not just bills, because a lot of that, when you're feeling really, really down, and you feel like there's no one looking out for you, and there's no one there for you, that is the time that it takes the most courage and the most strength to just keep moving. It sucks being on your own. I pretty much have had to do everything for the most part. I've had to deal with a lot of my things on my own. And I've learned that sometimes there isn't anyone coming to the rescue. Nobody's going to come and save me. We all would love to have someone just rush in and save us from everything. All the pain and the heartbreak. But it isn't necessarily going to happen. And that's when it's so important to stay focused on positive things and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Every barrier can be broken. Sometimes things aren't as bad as they seem, but you can work things up in your mind to make them seem like they're a lot worse than they are. And I'm guilty of that as well. So I'm going to give these a little stir. I like mine a little bit with a crispy kind of bite to them, so I'm going to just let them cook a little bit. And I'm actually going to season those with some of the Kinder's wood-fired garlic. You don't have to. If you don't like garlic, you don't have to. This is not a recipe. This is you just creating whatever you like. You don't have to season this at all with anything. But I do like to season my food with the things that I like. This is the steak one. Goes really good with everything. It doesn't just have to be for steak. And I'm just going super light on that because that can be a little peppery. And some black pepper. I use the grinder. If you don't have one, use whatever you like. So, I just want to encourage somebody today. I know it's tough. I know life is tough. Like I said, and I know sometimes it is just one thing after another. I do get it. I'm not outside of the realm of bad things happening. And even when I stay really positive, sometimes bad things still happen. But I take everything and I turn it into something else. I transform things that could make me feel like garbage into something that makes me feel better. Cooking is my love language. When I'm feeling kind of icky or down and kind of depressed, I can go into the kitchen and just start cooking things, and I feel a little better about it. I'm focused more on what I'm doing than what's going on in my head. That's another problem that a lot of us have, is overthinking. And I'm going to touch on a little bit of everything over the course of my recording these videos. And I'm going to do this until I just feel like I don't need to do it anymore. But right now, I just think I have some wisdom that I've gained, and I just want to share it with somebody. I want to share it with somebody who maybe doesn't feel good in their body. Maybe you don't feel good in your mind or your spirit. Maybe you're exhausted from all the crap. And I get that too. I've been there. Maybe you've lost some loved ones. Maybe you've had some really bad heartbreak. I just went through a very heartbreaking situation with my former person, and I'm not gonna lie, it has taken me a while to get through it, and a lot of tears. And that's another thing that you can do. Don't hold back. If you feel like you want to cry, please do that. It's a really great way to get that stuff out of your body. And it will, while it makes you feel kind of crappy right after, but eventually it does get better. And it will get better. You just have to stay focused and positive and keep putting that one foot in front of the other. I started viewing all the obstacles in my life as just stepping stones that I need to walk over, instead of bad things, instead of this is going to stop me from getting where I want to be. I just started jumping over them. If I can fix it, I will. If I can't fix it, it's going in the bucket. I am not perfect by any means, and I don't claim to be. But I am experienced, and I do have some wisdom to share. So hopefully, again, like I said, that will help someone too. So I've got this kind of crispy. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here, but just so you can kind of see what that looks like. I've got some of that really crispy, and there's a lot of the good fat and flavor on the bottom of this. Then I'm going to keep in that pot. So for right now, I'm just going to take the sausage out because it's kind of where I want it to be. If you like yours more crispy, by all means, keep cooking it. If you like it less crispy, cook it a little less time. And I'm going to use just my strainer here to do that. Because I want that, all that good stuff, all the little fatty bits in the bottom of the pan. Because fat is where the flavor is. And then it's still got some of the spice and all that in there too. So. Like I said, I'm hoping that this will be a great outlet for me also to express myself, but and maybe, just maybe, somebody else, maybe I can just encourage one other person to just keep fighting when it feels like there's nothing left to fight for. Now this pan's hot, so be careful. And I'm just going to dump these potatoes right in there. I'm actually going to use the other pan too, I think. If you haven't found your life purpose and you think maybe there's nothing to live for, while it seems that way, we're all here for some reason. And you don't have to be of any particular religion or belief system to know that. You're here for some reason and some purpose. It doesn't have to be something great. Just being alive sometimes. If that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. So I just dumped just all these whole potatoes in here. Now, you can cut these in half. I'm going to just keep mine whole for today. So I'm just stirring these around in that stuff that was on the bottom to get them kind of seasoned. And I'm going to season those potatoes as well. Also with some wood-fired garlic. But you don't have to have this gigantic purpose in your life. There doesn't have to be this thing you have to do unless it is your goal. I've not had any goals because I've just been surviving all of these years, and I realize that that's all I've been doing is surviving. I haven't really been living, and now I am. I'm finding my soul purpose, and I'm just living. And I want to encourage you to, when things seem overwhelming, to just stop, stand in a spot, and start noticing the things that are around you. Notice the floor under your feet or the ground. Notice what you're touching. Notice the breath that's going in and out of your lungs. If you have to, just be still for a few minutes and just take some deep breaths and focus on where you're at in the moment. living in the moment has been extremely helpful for me to get rid of some of the anxiety that I've had. So I'm just stirring these up a bit more. And what I am going to do is I'm going to use chicken stock in here. So I'm going to put, in 4 cans of potatoes, I'm going to put about maybe, I don't measure things, so you can just eyeball it. I'm not going to make it a soup. So I'm going to put maybe a half a cup to a cup of the broth. And just till it's, I don't know if you can see that from there, but just until it kind of comes to kind of the top of the potatoes. And I'm going to let that cook for just a few minutes and get hot. But I feel like a lot of times if we just stop and take stock of the moment that we're in, everything else is going on outside of you. And sometimes breathing and just focusing on where you're at and looking at the surface you're standing on. Focus on the things that you're touching. Just be in the here and now. Sometimes that is really, really helpful to get rid of some of the anxiety and worry. You can worry all you want about what's going to happen tomorrow. You can focus on the past and worry about what all has gone wrong in the past. But none of that is going to change anything. Worry takes away your peace and your happiness and causes you health problems. So this is boiling. I'm just going to let that cook for a few minutes, okay? Again, you don't have to do it this way. This is just how I do it. I could have cut those potatoes up anyway. You could have diced them. You can do anything with this. It's super simple. And you can see how long it's taking. It's really quick. And it's pretty much just one pot. I want to encourage you all to stay positive. And every time I do a video, I'm going to do that. Because somebody wants you here. I want you here. You are special. We all are made special. Regardless of who you believe made us, I don't care about your religious preferences or whatever spirituality you have. We're here, I believe, to just do the best we can with what we have. Not everybody was gifted with a blessed life, but you were gifted with a life. And sometimes when you feel bad, just doing something nice for another person, just one person, or even many people, is enough to help you kind of open up that part of yourself that says, hey, maybe I really do have a purpose in this life, and maybe something I do really does matter. Whether it's volunteering at a shelter, or just giving a few bucks to a homeless person, or whatever it is, whatever thing that you can do for someone else that doesn't require a payback. The payback is the feeling of peace in your heart, and it really does help. And I'm hoping that I can convince somebody, anybody, that that's a reason to be here. So This is cooking away, and I'm going to go ahead and dump this sausage in here. And some of that liquid's going to get soaked up by the potatoes. And if you don't like it as liquidy, you can actually drain some of that off. But I like mine a little bit on the liquid side, and to let it just kind of do its thing. So I'm just going to keep stirring that around a little bit and let it cook. But I want to tell you that there's always hope. And please don't ever give up. And please don't ever think that you're worthless and that you don't mean anything to anyone. Because that's just not the case. You are worth something. And even if it's just to you, you are the determining factor. You decide what you're worth. You don't need validation from outside sources to feel like you're worth something. They don't have to like it, and you don't have to care. And I always love that quote, because it's taken me a long time to not need validation from another person to realize that I am worth something. And if it's just me, myself, I'm worth something to me, regardless of what anyone else thinks or does or says. There's nothing that anybody can do to bash your light or dim your light, without your permission. So as I was saying before, this is a budget-friendly meal. So back to the food thing, because I love food, and again, that is my love language. So this has got a little bit more liquid than I want to have in there. So there's a couple of tricks you can do that to make this a little thicker. If you would like it a little thicker, because I'm probably going to do that. You can use cornstarch and a little bit of chicken broth, and I'll show you that's what I'm going to do to it, to actually make that a little bit thicker, but you do want to make sure you cook that. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'll use a mixing bowl. I'm going to do about, let's see, I'm going to do about a tablespoon of the cornstarch. And I'll go ahead and measure that out for you. But I'm probably going to do about 3/4 of a cup, or just shy of a cup of broth. And this isn't going to taste like chicken when we're done. It's going to be good. I guess I need a whisk for that. So I'm just doing that. I want to give that a little stir. I want to get it nice and smooth. And I may not use all of this. So that's about a cup of broth with about a tablespoon of, and that way it's got some flavor to it. I could just use water, but I want the flavor. And I'm going to just kick this up with a little bit of black pepper. So, if you're feeling down today, and you feel like nobody cares, just know that somebody does care. Somebody does give a shit about you. Even if it's just you, that's enough. You are enough. You are worth something. You're not useless. You're not worthless. And anything that you think in your mind is going to be how you are. If you don't ever think anything positive. Nothing positive is ever going to happen. If all you believe is bad things happen, then that's what's going to happen. You are as you speak. Your mind believes anything you tell it. So I'm just, as you can see, I just put a little bit of that in here. Yeah, that's going to thicken that up really good. But you just want to make sure it cooks. And again, you don't have to leave all of this in here. You can actually take it all out of the liquid. That's totally up to you. But I want mine to have some kind of, almost a stew, a thick stew kind of texture to it. And this is thickening up really nice. And I'll let you look at it here in a second to see what it looks like. It's got great color, and it's going to have fantastic flavor too. Your mind, so there. That's kind of what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that really well, but that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to turn that down to low, or around 2 on my dial. But if that's, if that's low for yours, then that's fine. So this is only going to take about 5 minutes or so to be done, and then the meal is done. It's really that simple. And anybody can do this. You don't have to have all this stuff. You can do whatever you want. I wouldn't salt it unless you just love salt, but I don't add salt until after food's cooked and I taste it first. But I'm not a chef, and I'm not going to start tasting scalding hot stuff out of the pot. But I just wanted to do this as kind of a, like I said, it's more of a therapy for me, and hopefully encourage somebody else to kind of have some faith that everything is going to work out for you. Even when it's hard, even when it's sad, I know it's tough. Regardless of if it's a loss of a family member or a friend, or heartbreak from your significant other, you can get through it. But only you have the power to control this. Nothing outside of you has the power to control you. And it starts with just baby steps. So I'm going to make a side to go with this. All I'm going to do is put a can of vegetables in a little pot and cook that. But you could do a steam and bag mix. And you could add other stuff to this too. If you like onions, by all means, cut up some onions and add them in there. If you like green peppers, put that in there too. Dice them up, chop them up, whatever you want to do. But it's going to be really delicious either way. And it's all according to just whatever you like. If you want plainer and you don't like all the seasoning, then leave it out. Just let the sausage be your seasoning. If you don't like that mild pork sausage, use turkey sausage. If that's, you're still going to get good flavor and less of the fat if that's what you prefer. Or if you don't eat pork, you could use a beef sausage. You can use anything you really like. And it's all up to you. Cooking is all about what you like. And as you can see, that's a super simple meal. And it will feed a few people, at least, hopefully. But so that's all I wanted to say for today. I just want to kind of get the ball rolling. I hope you all remember that you're worth something. I love you even if I don't know you. You don't have to know someone to love them. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm not doing this for money or fame. I'm doing this to hopefully help somebody stay encouraged today. So, blessed be, and love and light to everybody. Have a great day.